Hey there, Fletch Things Overlanding here, and today on this episode of the podcast, I wanted to touch a little bit on some things that I've observed and experienced since I had my open heart surgery. And I promise there's not going to be a ton of these. I know the last episode was about the open heart surgery and like the value of taking care of yourself and things like that. This is not going to become a health blog or anything like that. We're going to get right back into overlanding, but health obviously ties into your ability to get out and exploring. But of course, the healthier you are, the more chance that you're going to have to get out and explore, right? So again, I wanted to talk just a little bit about some things that I've noticed, things that I've experienced and observed over the last, it's been about 2 weeks now since I got out of the hospital. So I'm doing better. I'm doing better every day. For those of you that are wondering, thank you for all the kind words and wishes. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm doing great. Day by day, I'm still not technically allowed to drive, still not technically allowed to go camping, can't lift anything over 10 pounds. It's kind of an arbitrary sort of rule that they set, but just to be safe because they've cut open my chest, obviously, stopped my heart, did all that stuff. Obviously, they want you to be careful. They want you to give it plenty of time to heal for everything to kind of come back together. So I'm just taking it easy and I'm just trying to follow the doctor's instructions. So, but again, today I wanted to talk a little bit about just some things that I've seen because for my whole life, I have unfortunately experienced a lot of death. I've had a lot of folks that I'm related to, that my wife is related to, that, other family members, friends that have gotten horrible things like cancer. And a lot of people have passed away at ungodly young ages and things like that. So my philosophy has always sort of been, you never know. You don't know if you have tomorrow, right? And that's the way I've lived my life up until right now, which is age 45. So I am pretty carefree. I literally live like Vin Diesel, right? Like a quarter mile at a time. And I'm just assuming that I could go at any point. So that being said, it means that I have made choices that maybe in the short run seemed like a lot of fun, aka drinking too much or, partaking in things like that I shouldn't, and potentially taking risks that I shouldn't, maybe on trails and things like that, or working on cars and things like that. But again, on this episode, I want to talk more about health. I want to talk about eating. I want to talk about the benefits of taking better care of ourselves, right? Again, not to get all super crunchy. I'm not going to just be eating like fruits and vegetables from now on. I still love red meat. I love all these things. But, in the past, I would sit down for dinner and I'd have 2 full servings of something, because the kids didn't like anything that was fancy, anything that wasn't mac and cheese or cereal, they wouldn't really want to eat. So if we had steaks or if we had, a really good dinner, something that was really delicious and tasty, if we had extras left over, I was like, well, why? It's not going to be as good when we warm it up. I might as well just eat it, right? So I'd eat a couple servings. But that is one of those things where even though in my instance, everything was primarily influenced by genetics, because of the genetics influencing my body to be more prone to issues from that kind of stuff, your food choices can then have a more dire impact on that. That's one of the things that I've kind of learned from talking to the doctors and the cardiologists is it wasn't so much that I had a bad diet. It wasn't so much that I, was any worse than anyone else and probably better than a fair amount of people too. But the fact that I had anything that was even sort of risky or was doing anything, in my case, because of the genetic side of it, that definitely, it sort of multiplies the effects, right? So again, something to think about, right, is just be cautious. Just think about your food choices, right? So I've been doing some Greek yogurt for breakfast every morning so that I can take my whatever heart pills that they gave me. So I do like a Greek yogurt in the morning. And then for lunch, historically, we would order food. We'd order Jimmy John's sandwiches. We'd get, we'd go to a drive-through. We would do something like that. I work from home. My wife does too. So maybe we'd run out and grab something, or maybe we'd have junk here for, frozen foods, heavily processed foods, that sort of thing that were just really convenient and really easy. And we would heat those up. And so again, learning from that stuff now, I am more like, give me like an apple, give me, some cottage cheese, things that are high in protein, things that are not so high in sodium. Again, I'm still going to eat all that stuff. I'm just going to try and eat it a little bit less and more in moderation, right? The same goes for alcohol, beer, things like that. I still love beer. I love my IPAs and stuff. I've not had one for 4 weeks, which is kind of putting me through withdrawal, if I'm being completely honest. I do miss them, but it's not worth the risk, right? Like it's not worth the risk to mess with my medication and stuff that I have to take now for the heart stuff. So again, I'm going to get back into that. I have a meeting in about a little over a week with my cardiologist, and then that's when I get to ask all these fun questions like, hey, when can I start drinking beer again? But most weeks I'd probably just have like a 6-pack during the week of good IPA. And so again, not crazy, right? But just to sort of be aware of that now and to know that can impact your genetic side of it too. And those two things can work together against you, right? I'm definitely going to be taking that more in moderation. So again, this is not a lecture. I'm not saying anyone needs to or has to do anything. I'm just saying I'm the guy that for the last 30 years has been like, I'm going to drink whatever I want to drink. Let's do a 30 pack of Keystones this weekend with my buddies, like nothing's going to hurt me. I can't be killed. I'm invincible. Right. And now after all this stuff, again, I'm definitely not giving up on it. I could go tomorrow. You never know. So I want to have a good time still, but I also don't want to go at 50. I don't want to be gone and not be able to do this stuff into my 60s, 70s, So, again, just taking everything with a grain of salt, figuratively, not literally. Being a little bit more cautious, taking everything with a little bit more moderation. I saw Overlay and Under Budget, Micah, I think his name is, talk recently about how important his health was to him and how much he likes, being able to go out overlanding, camping, and then like to go on a hike. And to have good health makes everything easier. And I hadn't really thought of it that way, right? Because overlanding, at least for me, even on some of the challenging trails and stuff that we do, I've never not been able to do anything, right? Like recoveries, multiple hour-long recoveries and stuff. You just do it. You just get done with it and you just do it. But his point was kind of like, it's almost like a superpower. It's almost like a benefit, right? To be super in shape and super healthy. If you've got to get out and you've got to run up the trail and spot someone, if you've got to go back and forth, you don't want to be out of breath, right? You don't want to be in bad shape. If you are, you can still do the things, right? I'm not exactly a skinny, scrawny guy. And I know a lot of folks that are bigger than me that get out and run around and work their butts off and work on rigs on the side of the trail and all that stuff. But imagine if you were, healthier. Imagine if you were skinnier. Imagine if you had better cardio. Imagine if I, again, I'm not planning to go join Planet Fitness tomorrow and like become a bodybuilder or anything like that. But like, I'll go on a walk once a day with the wife now, which we were not doing, right? So I'm just trying a little bit, do a little bit more, keep myself healthier for longer so that I can enjoy this stuff more, so that I'm not out of breath when I have to do things like recoveries, when you have to get out and hike, when, that sort of thing. I just think it's smart to take care of yourself and think a little bit about your health, right? So again, if you're viewing this as some sort of like you need to be healthy and all that stuff, this is just me talking about my experience, right? The things that I've learned over these last couple weeks since I had that sort of scare with my health. So definitely something to think about, right? And I'm curious to hear from you guys too. Like, what do you think about this? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you not really care? I mean, that is kind of, honestly, full transparency, what got me into overlanding was I went on a weekend-long hiking, camping trip, and we backpacked in. We hiked about 20 plus miles in the span of about 3 days and 2 nights. And it was exhausting. Man, it was a lot of walking. And I'm like, I can't bring any beer with me because it's too heavy, right? Like, if you're going to hike 20 miles, you don't want to have a ton of weight. You don't have 2 6-packs in there for the 2 nights that you're going to be there to kind of have a good time and stuff. So it kind of limited what I could do. And then I found overlanding, and I'm like, dude, this is like hiking, but without the walking, and I can carry as much stuff as I can fit in my truck, right? So that is kind of the benefit of overlanding. But then also at the same time, not to say that just because your truck can carry everything that you should just get super overweight and not be able to, take care of your vehicle, do those trailside repairs, help with recoveries, get out and hike, get out and do stuff with your family, work with, go to your kids' sporting events, all that sort of stuff. That your health literally impacts your whole entire life, right? It impacts everything that you do. And again, I was taking advantage of that. I was taking advantage of my youth, I guess, even though I think of myself as pretty old at this point. 45 is not nearly as old as a lot of the folks I saw in the hospital when I went in for my heart surgery. There were like 70-year-olds that couldn't even get out of bed after the surgery. So that kind of woke me up a little bit and showed me that, I'm actually glad that it happened now while I'm younger. And it's taught me a lesson to be healthier so that I didn't get as advanced as far down the road of maybe being unhealthy later on in life. And also it's aided in my recovery a ton, right? Like it's definitely helped me be able to bounce back from this thing where, I went into the hospital, I was extubated during the surgery, and then I was out within 4 days. And now it's been about 2 weeks since I got out of the hospital. And I mean, I'm out here shooting videos. I'm, working on the vehicles. I'm packing stuff away. I'm cleaning up the garage, and I'm doing stuff again now. And, my chest is a little sore. I definitely feel that. And I definitely understand the no driving and no lifting heavy things because, again, you don't want to cause any issues with that surgery, the surgical areas where they cut me open. But yeah, just wanted to kind of make this quick little episode for you guys to sort of throw myself on the sword a little bit, right? To say, hey, I've always been like, go live it. Go live your life. You never know. You could die at 30, You get hit by a car. You could have a heart attack. You could get cancer. And that is true. And I still feel that way. But I also don't want to expedite that from happening, right? So again, just wanted to share this with you guys to say there's nothing bad about thinking about your health. There's, I always kind of thought, I'm a manly man. I eat the red steak. I eat as much as I want. I drink beer. I, do whatever. And But I mean, those are kind of antiquated ideas at this point, right? Like, I can be a manly man, I can enjoy my red steaks and my beer, but I don't have to drink beers every night. I don't have to eat 3 steaks, you know? So again, just be thoughtful of it. I have noticed too, like weight, and I don't know if you guys if you can see me on YouTube, I've lost about 10 or 15 pounds in the last couple of weeks, just not eating all the junk that I was eating before. And now that I'm feeling better, like last night I ate, some junk food. I ate some animal crackers, drank a Pepsi, that sort of thing. And I woke up this morning and I gained a pound. So, the processed thing is definitely real. Like eating processed food will pack on the pounds. And it's not like I'm out running 20 miles a day or anything. I'm walking maybe 1-2 miles a day, taking a couple 20-minute walks, real easy, casual, like barely sweating by the end of them, just doing a little bit to kind of get the heart rate up, to get going, to kind of get up off the couch, to break up the monotony, that sort of thing. And just get the heart rate up a little bit. Right. But, I wasn't doing any of that before, and I was eating just a ton of processed food, fast food, things like that. So definitely something to think about, right? When we're on the road, it's really easy to grab McDonald's. It's really easy to hop through a drive-thru and grab some junky food. But whenever we can avoid that, especially like when you're at home or you're working, that sort of thing, if you can pack a lunch, if you can bring slightly healthier options, high protein, low sodium, grapes, bananas, apples. I'm eating a lot of that sort of stuff now. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, all that kind of stuff. And I actually like it. I'm picking the stuff that I like, right? I'm not eating stuff that I hate and just complaining about it. I'm just picking stuff that I like that's healthier for me and eating that instead of junk food. So again, definitely something to think about. I hope that kind of gets the gears turning for you. If you've maybe been like me most of your life and you've kind of spent a lot of time thinking, man, you know what, I could go tomorrow, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, I'm going to drink whatever I want, and nothing's going to happen to me, right? I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button if you're on YouTube. If you're on the podcast, add it to your favorites, leave a 5-star review. That helps a ton, helps people see that the podcast is interesting, that it's good, helpful. Also in the description down below will be links to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. All things overlanding, stickers and patches. Don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog. I hate people so I camp. There's all kinds of different designs and stuff down there. All super high quality, pretty reasonably priced, so definitely check those out. Also, if you're on YouTube, there's a join button below this video, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and these podcasts. And it just says thanks for making the videos. If you want to be more involved, there's also a link to my Patreon down below, which is an awesome group of guys. We, chat on Discord 24/7. We are getting together once or twice a year, and we do a monthly Zoom call. We're actually going to have ours tonight. Now that I'm recording this, we're going to have our call tonight. So we're going to catch up with everybody, get to talk a lot about my heart surgery, I'm sure, and get everybody sort of caught up. But the trips have been fun too. We took one a few months ago that was awesome. We lived through a big old tornado storm and chopped through a bunch of trees to get out of there. It was a ton of fun. So definitely check that out if you are wanting to be more involved with all things overlanding. And then, of course, there is a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group, which is totally free to join, has tons of awesome people in it. So if you just want a place to learn, it's totally free. Come check it out. But again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.